Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've just come along, 5 minutes walk from Anstruther to the next little town, village, settlement, I don't know, call it what you like, of Cellardyke. Now both are kind of joined together nowadays, but it is a separate little part, and the locals are fiercely proud of the fact that Cellardyke's different. So we're going to have a wander along Cellardyke. It's effectively one street, right down by the coast, but we'll point out a few interesting features as we go. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's have a walk. So just starting at the sign that was behind me on the intro to the video, and these houses are, for the most part, they're really, really old. And this is where you'll see some of these tiny little doorways, because history tells us that in the past humans were shorter, and you kind of think, nah, that can't be the case. But I'm 5'6" and a wee bit. That wee bit's important. And I'm going to stand next to the doorway here. Look at this house, called the Wendy House. Let me flip the camera around. The doorway is very low compared to modern doorways, and there are some that are even lower. I'll see if I can find some as we go. There's not really any parking, but people just they park on one side of the road with the wheels up on the pavement, blocking the footpath, and that wouldn't be allowed anywhere else. We'd have people complaining that they can't get their pushchairs past or their wheelchairs past. But here people just get on with it. They just accept it, that there's nowhere to park, so you just park wherever you can. Now, unfortunately, in this little street, there's really not that much to see. It's one road full of houses. No real businesses to talk about. No real shops. But just a couple of little things, so we'll hopefully knock together an interesting little video for you. So there's the painter painting the building. There's you want to watch paint dry? Is this video one of these ones that's better watching paint dry? I don't know. And a lot of these little houses look as if they're empty. I don't know if they are or not, but the doors and windows are filthy and they don't look as if they've been open for a long time. So Cellardyke Town Hall. So a big enough town that had its own town hall, separate to Anstruther. So let's have a wee look at this information board. Just as I pan round here, you'll see this telephone box. Now, for many, many years, it's been used as almost like a little community library. People would just leave books for other people to come and read. But I noticed here that the door has been damaged in a storm, and it's not safe to attempt entry. So they're trying to get a grant for full refurbishment so it can be up and running. It's just a shame that a local craftsman couldn't come along and just sort that. It's simply a hinge that's broken. It's not that big of a job to get the hinges sorted, but waiting for a grant to get it fixed. So at the minute they've got a little community book bug session that you can go and swap your books there if you want, but that's been here for a long, long time, and it's a shame to see it closed. Just next to that, there's a little notice board telling you about Cellardyke, the toll booth and Mercat Cross. Because I did notice that on the building across the road, that it looked as it was one of those pillars with the little statue on top. So yeah, nice little bit of history here, and there's obviously been some kind of little commemorative garden here at one point, but it's all overrun now. Do you know anything about that? This little garden in Cellardyke. What was it commemorating? Who built it? What happened to it? Why is it all went to rack and ruin? Yeah, so that's that little column there. It normally has a little statue on the top. Anyway, let's move on. So look, windy streets everywhere you go. You can see how close we are to the sea down there. Just down that slipway is the Firth of Forth. And then we've got a Fortune House Chinese takeaway here, tucked away in the back streets. Now as we come along here, you might have heard me mention in a previous video that my wife Trisha's family had a holiday caravan here in Anstruther for many years. And we had many a happy weekend or week's holiday coming up here, you know, back in the 1980s. This little bar here is now called the Coastal Inn. But when we came here it was called the Boat. It was a great little bar and we had many a happy night in there because it was only a short stagger back to the campsite. So look at this door behind me here. Look, I nearly touch it. At all 5'6" and a dod of me. So anybody, you know, 2 or 3 inches taller is going to have to bend down. So people definitely wear shorter in the olden days. There's a couple more here, let me show you these. You know, look at this one as well, number 21. People are wondering why I'm standing at their doors, look. You know, the doorways are tiny. This one across the road. You know, very, very small doorways everywhere you look. Were people really munchkins back then? Were they short as history tells us they were? 'Cause look at this one. Very, very small doorways. Cracking little Triumph Herald here, look. Isn't that beautiful? A bit of style about it. Great little car in good nick and obviously getting used. I do miss having a classic car, you know. Maybe that's something I should look into. Getting another wee classic car. Something to tinker with, I don't know. So yes, all these little houses and cottages have all got names and they're all related to the sea in some way. You know, Smuggler's Cottage, the Little Ship, all kind of names like that. But there you go. It's just another slipway down to the Firth of Forth there. Now just so that you get your bearings, this street through Cellardyke is called John Street. And another blast from the past, that little house on the corner there, the caravan park was just up the hill here. And that little house used to be the corner shop and post office. And you would go there for your milk and bread and papers and everything else, but sadly also closed. The caravan site was there's a nice old car, and a Volvo 240. Just get these old cars tucked away in back streets, being used. It's fantastic. So yeah, the caravan park that was here for many, many years sadly closed. The developers were looking to buy up the land, and the money offered became too much for the owners of the campsite to you know, just to ignore, and they eventually sold up. Now there was dozens, if not over 100 caravans there, used by people who all came to Anstruther and all contributed to the local economy and the bars and the restaurants. And when the caravan park went, all of that went as well. And sadly you can see, you know, some of the evidence of that, where that little shop that was a thriving hub of people busy in the morning buying all their rolls and bread and newspapers, just dried up pretty much overnight, and it's now just a house, turned back to a house again. And some of the local bars and restaurants obviously suffered the same fate. It's just not viable when you don't have people coming. So that's a shame that happened, but what is it they say? You can't halt progress, or something like that. Anyway, let's carry on. So just coming along the last little bit of Cellardyke, and Cellardyke had its own harbour. Massive fishing community here as well, all the fishing boats. There's some fantastic old photographs kicking about. I'll maybe try and find a couple and put them in. Just while I remember, you've got the Haven. Smashing little restaurant as well. Nice little restaurant with a great beer garden. So yeah, so this would have been a hive of activity. Not going to come out well in the video, I don't think. You know, just busy with fishing boats coming in and out. No longer used, unfortunately. But again, you'd have thought that this would have been able to get used as a little marina for people to dock. You know, just tie their boats up. But that's not to be, it's not the case. So yeah, there's some great photographs that we'll include all the way along here of lots of fishing boats docked, lots of people that worked in the fishing industry all landing their catches, and you know, all the nets stretched out, and lobster pots and crab pots and all sorts of things. And you can see these are still used today as places for people in the houses opposite to dry their washing. In fact, somebody's got their washing it down there, look. Just hang the sheets out. So again, at one time, lots and lots of people would have been employed in the fishing industry here, but sadly it's all gone. Pretty much all gone. There's a local little fishmonger further up the road here who you can buy fresh fish every single day, and it's fantastic. I don't know if we'll manage to get round that way on the way back, but it's well worth a visit. If you're looking for some fresh fish, freshly caught, get yourself round these. I think it's Doig, Doig and Son is the fishmongers. So Doig and Sons, fresh fish sold here, fresh every day. Now I've got a nice wee provisions cabinet as well, selling all sorts of jams and creams and veg and sauces and all sorts of stuff in there as well. So if you're in the area, get along and buy some fresh fish. So we're leaving Cellardyke and heading just a little bit further along the coast for the last bit in this video to show you. And we're moving into a place called Kilrenny. And there's been a fantastic restoration project recently completed here in the last couple of years, which is now being used by people again. So it's great when things are restored to the point where they can be used by members of the public that were closed for a long, long time. And I'll show you what that is once we get there. So there's a wee information board here on the left that will tell us a bit more about Cellardyke. So let's have a look at that. So Cellardyke, the Toons Green, history of the Toons Green and surrounding landscapes. So there's the Toons Green. So let's carry on. And then just up that little building is public toilets. Surprisingly clean for something that's in the middle of nowhere. And then just opposite that, nice little kids play park. And we'll get to the restoration project in a wee minute. Let you have a look at it. So just come down here. And what you can see here is the restoration of this fantastic outdoor pool. So this lay derelict for a long time, but then they managed to get a grant to get it all cleaned up and reopened, and it's a really popular place for people. So there's people swimming, there's people paddleboarding, and we came along here the other day and there was a couple of pensioners sitting right there on two little fold-out chairs, and they had their wee remote control boats sailing them about in this pool. So great place, bit of wild swimming I think they call it nowadays. Don't know how warm the water is, but there's people in it, so it can't be that bad. So just opposite the end of the play park, we've also got the Skinfy, which is a wood-fired pizzas and barbecue. So you can get some cracking pizzas in there if you fancy that. So keep that in mind too for something to eat. So we'll carry on. Last little bit. So you've got a little outdoor sports centre here. Do outdoor activities, you know, archery and axe throwing and all these kind of things. In fact, you can see it here. So you can do a bit of kayaking, paddleboarding, archery, axe throwing, bushcraft, team building, multi-activities. You can hire all the equipment. So that's the website if you fancy, come and have a look. Different taster sessions here for kayak taster, paddleboard taster, archery, all these kind of things. So it's a nice place to come and spend a couple of hours. They also have burgers and breakfast rolls up in that little caravan there. Well worth a visit, and that's the reception for the outdoors centre. And just one more thing to show you. You'll see in the background here these static caravans. This is Kilrenny caravan site. Quite a difficult place to get a caravan sited, because I think it's one of these where just generations, families hand the van to the next person. We've also got this little coffee and crepes stall. So plenty of places to come and just get a bite to eat if you're out and about. And then just only one I've ever seen unique, I think. The Scottish seaside saunas. So yes, you can actually get a sauna outdoors here. People just enjoying it, so I'm not going to film them, but you can see here it's a fantastic place. Get a proper sauna, chill out after having a wee swim in the outdoor pool. Not bad, eh? And then if you walk along there, that's the next section of the Fife Coastal Path. So you can walk all the way along the coast here, from here at Kilrenny all the way along to Crail, and I've done a video on Crail as well, so you can have a look at that. It's a cracking walk. A little bit of it's a bit rough underfoot, but it's about 4 miles and it'll probably take you an hour and 20 minutes if you're just taking it easy. So it's a cracking thing, a real lovely thing to do to pass some time. The scenery's fantastic. Some of the wildlife you see on the way is great. So again, get some sturdy shoes on and get yourself a walk along the Fife Coastal Path. So there you go, that's a wee walk through Cellardyke and Kilrenny along to the coastal path that heads to Crail. I hope you enjoyed that one. Again, let me know in the comments. Take a second to click on the like and subscribe. Help the channel grow. And you know, let me know anything you'd like me to film also. Let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to accommodate that too. So thanks again for watching. And we'll see you all in the next video. Cheerio!